Welcome to Eastown Online. My name is Emerald, and I'm really glad that you have chosen to watch us today. Our life work here at Eastown is for anyone to experience Jesus, belong in community, and love our neighbor. What does that mean for us? It means that we want you to know that Jesus wants to get to know you, who you are and where you're at in life right now. He wants to know you, and he wants you to know him. It means that we are encouraging our people to live life together in community to see all the ways that Jesus can show himself. And it means that we are committed to loving local. Loving local means that we want to show up with love and mercy and grace and justice wherever we go. If it is your first, second, or third time watching and you've never checked in with us, you can do that by texting Eastown to 94000. I want to encourage you to subscribe and share, and don't forget to comment. I want to hear what it is that you're learning as you are watching. I know for some of you, this right here is a first step into community. And so I want to thank you for taking that leap to join us. But I also want you to know it is so much better in the room. So today, I pray that in the meantime, you take in this moment, and I pray that this message pushes you to love God, love yourself, and love others better. Enjoy.
We are all about unreasonable hospitality in this series. If this is your first time joining us, I would just really encourage you to go back throughout this series. This is our third week, and the first week, Evan actually kicked it off. And we've just been doing moments of unreasonable hospitality. And I think it's one of those things that is really, really important in our lives. Like, have you ever received unreasonable hospitality? And it's in that moment where it's like, man, like, if I reflect on this, like, I really didn't deserve that. Like, I really didn't deserve that. Well, I don't know where you are in your faith, but here's the cool thing. What we talk about here is Jesus. And Jesus gives us this unreasonable hospitality, like if we really take a moment and understand that. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that today. And one of the things I love is here at Eastown, is this whole idea of unreasonable hospitality. I think our teams do such a good job of seeing people. But one of the things that Michael and I, if you've never been here, Michael's my wife, she's sitting right here. She's usually giving me nods like, you can't say that, you can say that. So anyways, one of the things that we love is when somebody like writes us a note, or writes us an email and says, hey, I just want you to know that I noticed this today at Eastown, or I just want you to know that this is what God is doing in my life. And you can ask my kids, you can ask Michael. I usually print these out and I keep them, because if you're a parent, how often do your kids come to you and say, hey, I just want to thank you, Dad. I just want to thank you for lunch yesterday. I forgot to thank you. Right? It's like when somebody does something like that for you, you're like, okay, yes. Like, and I remember that, and it makes me feel so special. You know what we're doing? You know what they're actually saying? Is that I was seen today. I feel this sense of belonging. I feel like you saw me today. I feel like this is what happened in my life. And that's one of our things that we so strive to do here at Eastown, is that we see people, because everybody has this deep need for belonging. Every one of us do. Like, have you ever felt like, you know, when you feel like you don't belong? It's like the question that we asked during the Connect time. When is the last time you felt like a fish out of water? Or when is the last time you felt like, man, I just don't feel like I actually belong? So I want to take you back to a time when you felt like you didn't belong. And when was that last time? Like, one of the things I always tell Michael is, like, I'm in certain situations where I'm just like, man, I feel like a fish out of water. I feel like I don't belong. And it's one of the things that motivates us here, like even with our leadership and our team, is like, hey, I want people, even if they don't know what church is all about, if they don't know what this experience is all about, at least they feel seen, right? I remember a few years ago, a group of friends said, hey, let's go to the John Mayer concert over at Shoreline. I was like, absolutely. Like, John is pretty good. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's getting better and better. Let's go pay tribute to this man on his little soulful guitar magic thing that he has. But anyways, it was an amazing experience. And we're driving over there and we're excited. There were 6 of us, I think, that were on our way to John Mayer, and we're all dressed up and like, we're going to see John Mayer and this is great. Well, we pull into Shoreline, And we quickly realized that we might be at the wrong concert because there was a lot of tie-dye shirts. And there is nothing wrong with tie-dye. I like me some good tie-dye. And there was like lots of different hairstyles. And I'm just like, we just don't fit. Well, we look at our tickets again, and it said John Mayer, and then in print on the side was, and the Dead, which is the Grateful Dead, right? And so I've never been to a Grateful Dead. Really, it was a Grateful Dead concert, and John Mayer was there, right? And so we're sitting there, and I'm like, I just feel like I don't belong. And in fact, one time I look over in the audience, and this is when he was alive, the NBA legend Bill Walton was climbing what he thought was a ladder. Like he was in the audience, and he was just going, like, we're like, what is happening right now? And everyone in that audience, here's the thing they had in common. I think they all had glaucoma. I'm serious. Like, I think every single one of them. So needless to say, it's like there was this moment, you're getting the joke now. But anyways, there was this moment where I just felt like we don't belong here, but we had a great time, right? We finally figured it out. I don't know. We don't remember half the concert for some reason. But anyways, I didn't. I just say it was smoky that night. But anyways, when was the last time you felt like an outsider? And maybe for some of you, even today, right, as you walk into one of these doors, or maybe you remember the first time you walked into a door, into this church, or maybe you remember a time that you walked into a place where you felt like you didn't belong, right? Maybe for some of you going back to school, like this has been a really hard week. Maybe some of you going back to school this week is like, man, it's new for you. Like I think about some of our parents that are here that their children are in new schools this week. Like that's one of the hardest things. I remember when we moved from Detroit to here and my daughter was it was halfway through the school year and she was going into 7th grade and my Henry was going into like the 3rd grade and then Charlie I don't know what he was going into. But anyways, I remember dropping them off and I'm like, I remember this in my own life. And you just feel like, man, I hope somebody sees me or I just want to hide. I don't want to be here. Or maybe you feel like that at a job, or maybe even on your team at work, that you just feel like you don't belong. Maybe you're part of a group that you just feel like you don't belong. Maybe for some of you, I remember being picked last, right? It's like that feels really hard. It doesn't matter where you're at in your journey of faith. No one likes to be left out or feel like they don't belong. As Evan shared on week 1, stats show close to 40% of people in the U.S. feel loneliness at least once a week. You're like, Clint, I would love to just feel it only once a week. I feel it. It doesn't matter how many people are around you, right? You can feel this all the time. You can feel even in a crowd where you can feel like you are alone. And that feeling is awful. And there's a lot of us who feel like we don't belong anywhere. One of the books that we've been using as an inspiration for this series is Unreasonable Hospitality. And in it, the author talks about how people are desperate to be seen and heard. He goes on to talk about the power of going above and beyond expectation, the importance of focusing on people over products, and the necessity of helping people feel loved and included. Like I remember, I think Charlie was 4 years old and we were doing, it was my birthday. And my older kids, I had, Savannah, who's our oldest daughter, and Claire and Henry, they got me gifts. Well, Charlie gave me a note. And if you're a parent, have you ever got a note gift? And they're like, this is valid. It's not valid for crap because you got to pay for it. Right? You got to take the kid out to eat. But anyways, Henry gave me something. He was like, hey, this is for a movie. And I'm like, where's the money? Where is it? You don't work around here. I give you a free room. But anyways, Charlie wrote ears. Like he tried to draw ears. It was a really bad drawing, but I didn't tell him he was 4. But it was like this ears. And maybe I've told this story here. And I'm like, what is this? And I think Henry spoke up. And Henry's like, oh, he wants to give you new ears because when he talks to you, you don't actually hear him. So he thinks that you need new ears. And I said, well, here's a list of chores. Like, you're going to earn your keep, buddy. Can you hear that? I didn't say that. But it was just like, hey, like even at that age, like he would talk to me and I'd be like, It's like he was desperate. Even children are desperate to be seen and heard. I love reading and studying things like this because sometimes I say that nothing is new, right? When it comes to what we see, that people are desperate and seen to be heard or want to be heard. He goes on to talk about the power of going above and beyond expectation, the importance of focusing on people over products, the necessity of helping people and feel loved and included. I talked about this already because here's the thing. Jesus was saying this thousands of years ago. This is nothing new. Some of us read things in books and we're like, oh man, that's so good. That was being said years ago, thousands of years ago. Jesus was all about seeing people. Jesus was saying this so many different times in so many different ways. Jesus was always saying things that were revolutionary. They shouldn't have been, but at this time they were because they had drifted so far from God. And they wanted something that Jesus had. Like Jesus was very attractive to people, not because he was the Son of God. In fact, no one really knew that at the time. Only they say the demons knew that he was the Son of God. There was something that was different about Jesus that people so desired. Jesus was all about inclusion and hospitality. He was always about inviting people into the story. Jesus modeled a radical form of hospitality. Let me say that again. Jesus modeled a radical form of hospitality. He didn't just agree with it or talk about it, but he lived it. It was one of the contributors to his death because of who he associated with. He didn't just agree with it, but he lived it. He lived it because that's who he was created to be. We are created in the image of God. Think about this. Is Jesus came to the earth. God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to the earth. He came as a human to show and to model to us what it means to be a human. What it means to be a human. Not to judge, but to show us this is how it is to be a human. Because everybody before you has kind of messed it up. I'm going to show you again. This is what it means to actually be human. Did you know you are created in the image of God? Did you know you are created? Let me say it again. You are created in the image of God. When you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror, maybe leave the lights off for at least 5 minutes, then turn them on, and you look at yourself, I want you to say, I am created in the image of God. I am loved. And so when you hear truth that only Jesus can share, there's something that resonates deep in your soul. And so to love people and to see people is how you are created because you're created in the image of God, and that's what God does. And so Jesus comes and he shows us what this looks like. This is how we are made to live, even with those he chose to be around him. They included poor fishermen, rich tax collectors, those who disagreed with each other politically, far right and far left. In his ministry, Jesus consistently loved, invited, and approached people that most avoided or ignored. Inviting women to lead and even fund his ministry in a culture that mostly belittled women. Inviting kids to approach him when most leaders pushed them away. Having meals with people who were deemed the worst of sinners. Touching the sick, forgiving accusers, loving those who hated him. Interacting with people groups that were marginalized by the church. The one with no home, listen to this truth. The one with no home became the most hospitable man the world has ever known. This is important because Jesus was a rabbi. A rabbi is a teacher or a pastor. Rabbis were they were held up in high esteem. And everybody wanted to be a rabbi. And everybody wanted to kind of follow rabbis around. Rabbis were not doing what Jesus was doing. And in fact, they were avoiding everything that Jesus would be about. This is what made Jesus different. Like, why is this rabbi associating with the riffraff? Right? It would be like the same as a rabbi associating with like an Ohio State fan. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, right? It's like, why would this person associate with me? And in fact, the rabbis of the time only wanted to be around people that believed like them. Where have we seen this? Think about where the world we live in. Is believe like me, vote like me, and then I'll hang out with you. I won't cancel you. But Jesus was different. Jesus was going to the places that nobody else wanted to go to. They were avoiding the marginalized at all costs. They were not associated with those who were not religious, associate with those who believed only like them. Many did not even know this was the Son of God. There was something, though, that they desired. This became one of the distinctives of the early church. They saw how Jesus modeled his life. The church was built around those attributes. Like think about in Acts 2, like if you go in the New Testament, if you were to read the New Testament, it goes Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the gospels, which mean the good news, which means Jesus. The gospel is Jesus. And then you have the book of Acts, and this is the first actions of the people, of the disciples and the apostles of Christ. And they're like, we're gonna model everything how Jesus did. And that's how we're gonna live. They would gather together. They would pray together, they worshiped together, and fed the poor. Now, this was really important at this time. They noticed what are the social issues of the time? What is going on in our culture right now? There are people that are dying from hunger. There is mass starvation. What are we going to be known for in the centuries to come? It's actually written in Acts. And what does it tell us? They fed the hungry. Think about this. Let's just push a pause button. Beep. It's like, what are people going to know this church? Not Eastown, the church of the U.S., the church of the world, the global church. What are we going to be known for in this season? What we hated, who we judged, or how we combated what the social issues of the time. Like, think about that. Think about what are we doing now? What are we seeing in our society? What are the roadblocks to the gospel in our community that we as a church would say, we have to do something about that? Yesterday, listening to stories of survivors of sex trafficking and human trafficking and abuse. This is going on, not in our backyard, it's going on in our front yard. And we as believers and followers of Jesus Christ have to see that, and we have to tear those walls down because of what? Not because of me, but because the gospel commands us to. Because the gospel is good news for everyone, brings freedom to everyone. And this is Jesus. He's like, is there a racial issue? What is our church? If there was racism and all of those things happening in the book of Acts, they would have said, hey, you know what? There was some racial stuff. There was some racial stuff in our schools. There were some racial things that were happening in our community. And we got together as a group of believers on Wednesday morning in the prayer room, and we began to pray that the Holy Spirit would show up and that a group of believers would tear that wall down. That's an amen. Okay, so let's keep going. What are we known for as a church? How we treated the immigrant, the prisoner, those who were in prison? Are we radically different? Or are we just like the status quo? So we don't become bothered or dirty from the marginalized. Unreasonable hospitality is not only a spiritual practice for those who want to be more like Jesus, but also a way to increase our kingdom impact in our workplaces, schools, and homes. If you are sitting here and you are 13 years old, if you are 16 years old, if you are 22 years old, you have a responsibility, if you are a follower of Jesus, to see your classmates and you see your school as Jesus sees it. If I am here, I'm only a ninth grader. I'm just a lowly little eighth grader. Well, actually, you're the big person on campus this year, right? It's like, what can I do? What can I see with my eyes as God wants me to see it? How can I make a difference? Even look for the kid that's sitting alone at the lunch table. See the kid that comes in the same clothes every single day. What can I do about it? If I'm in a university, if I'm at college, if I'm in my workplace, what can I do to have kingdom impact? Those who follow Jesus and those who embrace Jesus' call of unreasonable hospitality. Listen to these three things. You want to write this down, you can. If you want to remember what we're talking about today, I would encourage you to write. I don't even care if you hold your camera up and take a picture, just not of me. Become better bridge builders with those who are different than you, right? Those who follow Jesus. Listen to this. If you're not following Jesus, you don't need to take notes on this part. It's a bad joke. But anyways, become better bridge builders with those who are different than you. Let me say it again. Become better bridge builders. Clint, become a better bridge builder with those who believe different than you. Let me tell you what this church has to become. Let me tell you what this space has to become. It has to be a space where, yes, we leave our political views at the door. Maybe take them to the other parking lot. We have to leave some of our agenda. We have to leave our agendas. If there's no space in our world where different ways of thinking can come together and worship the one true God, where can we do it? Where can we do it? We're going to cancel people because they don't believe or say things that I like. I want Eastown. My vision for Eastown, Michael and I, our vision for Eastown is that if you believe right, if you believe left, if you're a moderate, whatever it is, this is your space. This is your space. Because Jesus is for everyone. Jesus is for everyone. And I think sometimes we think that, hey, I think this way. The reason I say I think sometimes is because it's me that thinks this way. Well, I will have unity with you when you start believing like I do. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Jesus' last prayer, known prayer, is the unity for all believers. Can you believe that? And this is sarcasm getting ready to come out of my mouth. Look at the unity among all believers in the United States right now. It's beautiful, isn't it? No. He was just talking to believers. Why? Because if there's unity among believers, what would happen to our country? God is, by the way, God is a global God. He's a global God. What if there's this movement that starts here in the Bay Area where people are like, hey, they believe differently than I. They don't believe it, but there's something that is happening. Be a bridge builder. Bring life, hope, and belonging into every environment you step into. Step into a life overflowing with purpose and impact. So we're going to look at how one of the first century church leaders calls us to unreasonable hospitality. Why? And the why, and the practical ways to experience this. The how, the why, and the ways. Let's look at the book of Peter. This is found in the New Testament. And in 1 Peter, it says this: the end of all things is near. Therefore, be alert and of sober mind so that you may pray. Above all, love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. End of all things. What is he talking about? This term refers to a new era that will begin with Jesus, or this is a new era that began when Jesus came to earth. The renewal or restoration of all things. Jesus making us into a new creation. It began what we call, right, the end times, a period of time that humans ought to live with alertness, knowing the end of all things will come soon to all of us, either by our death or the return of Jesus. Life is short. So be alert and of sober mind as you pray. Focus and prioritize your relationship with God. Don't be distracted from what matters most. This is why church is so important. Wherever you call your home, if it's Eastown, if it's somewhere else, this is what's important, because every 7 days we need a reminder. Where are we going? Who are we serving? What do I need to place under the lordship of Jesus Christ? Because that's got a little out of control in my life, right? Be alert and of sober mind as you pray. But not just that. Above all, it says prioritize, right? Love, agape, self-giving, and sacrificial love. We did a wedding yesterday, April and Baird's wedding, and Michael talked about agape yesterday and how easy it was for her to love me. Amen? But this agape love is self-giving, is sacrificial to each other deeply, right? Think how many times we love people as long as. In the light of the brevity of life, be passionate in your love for God and for people. Let it be deep, sacrificial, unselfish, and stretched out. One thing I'm learning, it is really difficult, and Michael is teaching me this right now. She's been teaching me this. I'm just now listening. One of the things I'm learning, it's really difficult to love God and love others if you don't love yourself. And this is not a selfish love. It's like, oh, it's all about me. Go live your life. I couldn't come up with any other phrases. But it's just like, this is a love where you check in with yourselves, like, how am I doing today? Am I dealing with the trauma in my life? Do I sense that the God of the universe loves me today? And think about the things that you say to yourself that you would never say to anyone else. Now, maybe some of you are like, no, I'd say that to anybody. It's like, I do this. It's like, Clint, you idiot. Why would you do something so dumb? I'm never going to be worth anything because of stuff I did in my past. How do we love God and not love ourselves, right? One of the things I think that is so important is do that check-in every day. Is how am I doing with loving myself? The Bible consistently affirms that our love for God cannot be disconnected from our love for people. In Mark, it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no command greater than these. John says, whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar, right? It's like, how many of you, let's raise our hands. How many of you hate somebody? I'm kidding, don't raise your hands, right? How many of you hate the person beside you? Right? It's like, how many of you have hate in your life for something or someone, and you wonder, why doesn't God speak to me? Why don't I feel this hope or this peace? Why don't I feel forgiveness? Because those attributes of the fruit of the Spirit, all of those things cannot coexist with hate or unforgiveness. If you want to experience peace, you have to release this. Whoever claims to love God yet hates his brother or sister is a liar. This is not blood, brother and sister. We are brothers and sisters. That guy who cut you off yesterday. Anyways, let's keep going. Cover sin. The world needs healing. Time is short, so cover its brokenness with sacrificial love. This is how you heal a marriage, a friendship, a wound, a wrongdoing. It takes a lot of time. When we are confused on what to do, love. When you're confused, love. Verse 9 says this, Peter gets practical. He says, offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Since life is short, since your love for God and for people are connected, that's your priority and path for healing yourself in the world, offer hospitality and don't complain about it. You might be thinking, why is hospitality the application here? Listen to the modern definition of hospitality. When we look at Webster's dictionary. Webster says this, the activity or business of providing services to a guest in hotels, restaurants, bars, etc. The biblical definition of hospitality is a practice of welcoming, hosting, and caring for others, especially strangers, with uncommon warmth, generosity, and love. Hospitality is a spiritual practice and a sign of Christian maturity. This is a litmus test of where you are with following Christ. Just like the great philosopher, right? John Bon Jovi said, are you giving love a bad name? Okay, this is a really bad joke. But anyways, are you giving Jesus a bad name? Are you giving Jesus a bad name? It's like, if we love Jesus, our response is hospitality. Our lifestyle is hospitality. We can say we are followers of Jesus, but we only show hospitality to those who vote like us, look like us, and believe like us, which means that the more you love God, the more your life will be about helping strangers become friends, foreigners become insiders, the outcast finds inclusion, and the lonely finds community. Why do we do Eastown groups? Why do we need leaders to step up and say, hey, I don't know what I'm really doing, but I'm gonna provide an environment where people feel included, where people can learn how to be healed, where people can have a safe space to be heard and to be seen. Followers of Jesus should be the most inclusive people on earth. We are called to proactively look for the lonely and connect them, to open our homes to the most unlikely people, to welcome those with addiction, broken families, sinful habits with open arms, to lovingly search for the disconnected and help them belong. You know what I love here at Eastown? Our service, we tried to start it at 10, but you all are so late. It's unbelievable, right? And there's a scripture in Second Hesitations that talks about it. You know what I love is when I'm sitting up here and I'm doing greeting, I see people out there, you are loving people, but get your butts in here by 10:05, right? It's like, I love that you love people. This is a place that we're creating environments, and we need more people to step up and say, how can I love people? We're almost packed in this room. If we keep on this trajectory, we're gonna open a second service. We need people to step up and say, you know what? I've been sitting here, I've been taking up too much space too long. Dan's back there eating and drinking right now, right? It's like, we need people to say, I'm ready. Sign me up. Like, I want to see people. I want to love people. People that say, here, you belong. This should matter to us more than the products we create, the games we win, the profits we store up. But what follows is my favorite part, because you might be thinking, I don't know how to do this. I don't have much to offer. I haven't really found belonging even in myself. Peter tells us each of you should do whatever gift you have received to serve others. Each of you have unique gifts. As faithful stewards of God, grace in its various forms. If anyone speaks, they should do so as one who speaks the very words of God. If anyone serves, they should do so with the strength of God that he provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To him be the glory and the power forever and ever. Amen. Each of you, what is he saying? Each of you should use your gifts, right? What is the gift? What can I do that not many other people can do, that people are actually attracted to? It's like your charisma. You have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms or various colors. Like, you have been made uniquely. You have a unique personality. You have unique gifts. Jimmy, who was up here, he's crazy. He's crazy. Like, I was sitting and talking with him this week. I'm like, bro, you do so many things naturally that you are so gifted at that you don't even know that they're a gift. You need to use those to continue to connect people to the kingdom of God. This is what matters, is you have something that God has given you. God's grace comes in various ways, and many people can't even see him. All you've been given is to help the world you know. All that you have been given, all that God has been given you is to help the world to see the person of Jesus and to understand you belong. I'm going to invite my friend Aaron up, and this is Aaron Dickerson. And Aaron and Sam, you probably know Sam. She's our operations director.
Hello.
Hey, okay, yeah.
It works.
Yeah, he's testing the mic right now. Aaron and Sam were a part of our launch team, and we met them back in 2017. And Aaron immediately stepped into serving Eastown. Like, immediately, like, trying to figure it out. Like, we were like, hey, what are you gifted at? Actually, we don't care. We need you to drive a truck and a trailer. Like, that's what we need. Like, when you launch a church, when you start a church, it's like, it's all hands on board. We need to figure it out. And I watched Aaron, like, he would unload the trailers every Sunday. He would hook them up. He would do all of these things. He would lead teams wherever we needed Aaron. I still remember this. I remember somebody walking into the church, and they were coming from a different church because... Anyways, and so they walked in and they're like, hey, what's your discipleship process? And I was like, oh, you're from a different church. I can tell by your language. And I was like, and they said, what's your discipleship process? And I said, hey, see that guy with that other guy setting up pipe and drape? That's our discipleship process. Go ahead and join the team, right? It's like, that's kind of where we were at the time. Now, kind of that's joking, but that's how we lived life.
A lot of truth to that.
Right? It's like we lived life together, doing what needed to be done. And then after that was done, Aaron would go put on a greeting tag and start greeting people. Like, that's what we did. Still do, right? But here's the thing. I brought Aaron up because Aaron recently joined our student ministry team. Yes. Woo. And I told Michael, I don't even know if I've told Aaron this publicly, and then Sam's going to hear this for the first time. I've watched Aaron come alive. I've watched him come alive. Like, he was grumpy before. I'm just kidding. But he was like, he was doing things, and he was, he had a smile on his face, and he was doing it. But there's something that is different. Now, I know I'm putting you on the spot. We kind of set this up.
Yep.
But what is different? Like, why is that different now that you're serving in student ministry and all the other things? Could you have been like, hey, I put my time in, I'm done?
Yeah, most times I feel like that.
Yeah.
I would say for me, it was an easy yes when first asked to join ministry. We needed bodies for our student summer camp. And I said yes right away. But for me, what really changed, it really clicked for purpose for myself, to show up for these kids day in and day out.
Yeah, and were you nervous like the first? So we threw you right into camp.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an easy place. That's easy.
Yeah.
So you went to camp. Were you nervous?
Totally. Yeah, I felt maybe unqualified because you
Yeah.
may not be equipped enough, like in the Bible or with just knowledge of God. But yeah, just had to be available for these kids.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we think like we have to have all this knowledge, like a seminary. Do you have a seminary degree?
No, I do not. But
Okay.
I do have 2 kids, so that
That counts.
me.
That counts. Check it. You don't even have to honorary doctorate.
3 and 6.
Yes. So that's something that you felt like even at camp. It's like, man, like this is, I don't know if I'm in. I have the knowledge. I can do this. Where was it? Where did it all change for you? Like where you felt like this is what I'm made to do.
Well, I think our student ministry aims to create a space for life, purpose, and faith. So just showing up for these kids is where I want to make sure that I'm available for if they need to. And I think that's what really led to my purpose there for that student ministry.
Yeah, it's been incredible watching you. All right, one more question for you. If right now, it's like I know Claire's leading our student ministries and she's getting ready to go to UCLA, and then we need some people to step up, right? So maybe there's somebody in here that needs to step up into that. What would it be that you would tell them?
Again, I think our kids, there's so much change going on in their lives, and every single day, every single moment, they need consistency to show up. And I think our leadership can be a place for them to really show up and just let them know that we're here for them whenever they need, for whatever they're going through. And just that consistency is going to be huge.
That's awesome. Aaron, thanks, man. Appreciate you. You guys, give it up for Aaron. Did we put that picture of Aaron up when he was up here? Was that up here? It wasn't. Okay. This is my favorite picture. Look at those guys just killing it over here. I want to end like this because I think this is so important. I want to invite you to be a part of something that will change someone's life. I really do. To bring unreasonable hospitality. It's like one of the things that we're committed to a lot of things here at Eastown is like you have been strategically placed wherever it is that you live, whatever school you go to, wherever your workplace is, you are commanded to live on purpose. You're commanded to love people, even when it doesn't feel right. For some of us, we're always thinking about the next step in our career, but what does God have for me right now in the career that I am? Who am I not seeing that I need to see? Because if I'm always focused on what's over the mountain, I'm missing right here what's in the valley. I'm missing what God is doing right here. So I want to just really encourage you to live with unreasonable hospitality wherever you are. But we also need people to step up here. And I think about our student ministries right now. It's like God is bringing students right now to Eastown students that is incredible. And we need female leadership. We need male leadership, people to step into that and to lead. And I want to if maybe your next step is to talk to Aaron or talk to Claire about what would that look like. You might say to yourself, I'm unqualified. Maybe it's you. Now, if you don't like students or teenagers, it's not you. But maybe you're like, no, I want to help. What Aaron just said, like the change that is happening in our students' lives is crazy. The loneliness that they're feeling, to have that third party in their life is absolutely incredible. Maybe for you, it's like you give it a season, you try it out. Also, the one thing I want to challenge you with is we need to create spaces for people. We need to create spaces. One of the backbone of Eastown is our groups, and we need people to step up and say, I will ask questions, I'll figure it out. Talk to Michael about Eastown groups. Talk to Sam about Eastown groups. What would it look like? We will put you in, we will train you, we will help you, but we need people to say, you know what? I would consider not only just leading a group, but being part of a group. Maybe that is you today. Like, just consider it. You have those little cards on your chair. You can simply fill one of those out, leave it on your chair, put it in the generosity box, have a conversation at This is Eastown. When you walk out that door, it's to the right. Or maybe your step is just to pray about it. I want us to bow our heads, and I want you to ask Jesus. Really ask and listen. God, where is it that I need to step into. I need to step up with faith. I don't know if I can do it because right now, everything in your mind is like, I'm busy. I don't have time. I feel like they kind of have it under control. It's like, no, it's not about more people and getting more people to do things. It's about stepping into the unique giftedness that you have given us, to bestow the grace that you have given to us to others. God, where is it? What is it that I need to step into? I'm just going to ask you to just listen for the next 30 seconds. Just be in that moment in silence and ask God to reveal that to you.
We hope you enjoyed today, and thanks again for taking the time just to tune in. If you have any questions about Eastown or what it means to put your trust and faith in Jesus, we have many resources available on our website. If you have more questions than what you can find on the website, simply email us at info@eastown.church, and we would love to connect with you. We believe the church should be making a positive difference in your life and in the community in which we exist. And we can only do that through people's generosity. If that is something you would like to do, simply visit eastown.church/give. And again, thanks again for joining us. Tune in next week. Or hey, better yet, visit us in person. Have a great day.